Hello guys, this is your friend Shinobi Nexix 2.0 and we are back in new fanfic. What if Naruto became the Blue Eyes White Dragon's master part 1? Beep, 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 beep click, stupid clock, mumbled a teen as he sat up in bed. The teen had bright, spiky blonde hair, cerulean blue eyes, lightly tanned skin, and 3 unique whisker marks on each cheek. This was Naruto Uzumaki. Getting out of bed, Naruto went to the bathroom to take a shower and get dressed in the uniform of his new school, Domino High. Once he was finished, Naruto headed downstairs where he saw his parents, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Along with his little sister Shio Uzumaki, who had the same red hair as their mother but blue eyes like him and their father, were already up and having breakfast. Morning, Naruto said, getting his family's attention. Good morning birthday boy, said Kushina, smiling at her son with Naruto pausing for a moment as he remembered that today was his 16th birthday. Happy birthday Ni-san, Shio said, getting up and hugging her brother, which Naruto returned while smiling at his sister before she handed him a present. Here, I got this for you. I hope you like it, Shio said with a smile as Naruto patted her on the head. If it's from you then I know I'll love it, replied Naruto while opening the present, seeing that it was a long-sleeved dark blue jacket with black stripes and edging along with amber jewels on the elbows, shoulders, and on the high collar. Naruto whistled in amazement at the jacket as it was definitely a cool one that he'll enjoy wearing. Thank you Shio, this is really great, Naruto said, smiling at his sister with Shio beaming that he liked her gift. Here's mine, happy birthday Naruto, Minato said while giving his son his own gift. Taking the gift, Naruto opened it and saw it was a small black case that he could attach to his belt. Opening it, Naruto was confused when he saw it was filled with a bunch of cards. What are these? Naruto asked, taking out a few of the cards and seeing some that depicted various warriors and beasts, while some that were colored green or purple only had scenes on them. They're dual monster cards. It's a game that's becoming quite the hit with people, recently. Minato answered, figuring with how popular dual monsters has become, it'd be something that Naruto could learn to play himself. Huh, it looks pretty cool, said Naruto, putting the cards back in his case and attaching it to the back of his belt. And of course, saving the best one for last, Kushina said, while handing Naruto her own present. Taking it, Naruto opened the case and was surprised when he saw a golden ring resting within it, with a ruby inset within the center and a few smaller ones around it. He could also see the Eye of Jot inside the main ruby, as well. Isn't this yours, Ka-san? Naruto asked, having seen his mother wear the ring a few times before, while Kushina nodded. It's actually a family heirloom, having been passed down through my family for generations. Now I'm passing it on to you, Naruto, replied Kushina, with Naruto looking at the ring before taking it out and sliding it onto his right ring finger. Though the moment it was on his finger, Naruto's eyes widened for a second as the ruby on the ring glowed brightly for a second, before turning back to normal. What was that? Naruto thought, blinking in confusion as he looked at the ring, wondering what the strange sensation he felt when he put it on was. Looking at his parents and sister, Naruto smiled in thanks for their gifts before sitting down to have some breakfast. Once he had finished eating, Naruto had said his goodbyes before leaving to get to school. Thankfully, it didn't take long until he arrived and got his schedule before heading to class. After arriving, Naruto was told where to sit by the teacher. Looking at who he was sitting next to, Naruto was surprised at seeing just how short his desk neighbor was. But the craziest part was his hair that was spiked in colored blonde, black, and magenta. Hi there, my name's Yugi Muto, said the tri-colored hair kid, while holding out his hand, which Naruto shook. Nice to meet you Yugi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto replied. Likewise. These are my friends, Joey Wheeler, Tristan Taylor, Taya Gardner, and Miho Nosaka. Yugi said while gesturing to the four other teens. Hey, how's it going? Joey said with a smirk. Hi there, said Tristan. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Taya said while smiling. Hello, said Miho. Hi, nice to meet you all. Naruto replied while smiling at the group. So do you play Duel Monsters, Naruto? Yugi asked, having noticed the deck case that Naruto has. I actually just got that today as a gift from my two-san, so I haven't played yet nor do I really know the rules. Naruto answered. Oh, well if you want, I could teach you how to play after class. My grandpa taught me everything he knows, so I know the rules and how to play. Yugi offered, with Naruto nodding in thanks. Sure, that sounds fun, replied Naruto before their attention turned to the teacher when they started speaking. Later, after class had ended, Naruto and Yugi had gone over to a table and pulled out their decks. While Joey, Tristan, Taya and Miho gathered around them. So, do you know anything about Duel Monsters? Yugi asked, wanting to see if Naruto had any prior knowledge of the game. No, I just learned about it after getting these cards, replied Naruto, with Yugi nodding in understanding. That's fine. It's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. Each duelist first draws 5 cards at the start of a duel, then they each take a turn that's divided into their draw phase, standby phase, main phase 1, battle phase, main phase 2, and end phase. The draw phase is where you just draw a card from your deck at the beginning of your turn. The standby phase more or less a break between the draw phase and main phase 1, though some card effects do activate during it. The main phase 1 is where you set up your field by summoning a monster and using spell cards or setting a trap card. The battle phase is where you attack your opponent's monsters, though you can't attack on the first turn. The main phase 2 is where you set up your defenses and prepare for your opponent's turn. And the end phase is where you end your turn and then your opponent goes. Understand Naruto? Yugi asked, with Naruto nodding slowly as they each drew 5 cards from their decks. Yeah, I think I understand it. Naruto replied. Cool, then all that's left is to start, said Yugi as both boys smirked at each other. Let's duel. Timeskip. Several months have passed since Naruto entered Domino High along with meeting Yugi and his friends, having become great friends with all of them, as well as teaching him how to playing Duel Monsters, and Naruto had to admit, he's come to really enjoy the game, having even made some improvements to his deck and added some new cards as well. Currently, the group were standing around a table with Yugi and Joey going against each other in a duel with Yugi teaching him how to play. Hey Joey. Earth to Joey. Hey, are you in there, man? It's your turn, Yugi said, given it's been Joey's turn for a while and he's yet to make a move. Said Joey, looking at his hand intently before gasping when Tristan wrapped an arm around his neck. Oh, isn't he cute when he's thinking? Tristan teased. Hey Tristan, Yugi here's teaching me how to play Duel Monsters, Joey said, having wanted to learn to play after seeing how much Naruto and Yugi played it. Drooling Monsters, Tristan said, confused for a moment. Duel Monsters, Tristan. The game that Yugi taught me how to play, remember? Said Naruto while standing beside Taya and Miho. Yeah, ya Nimrod. Now be quiet, I'm tryin' thinking here, Joey said, while looking back at his hand. They've been at it for hours. Joey's starting to get the hang of the game, but Yugi's like an expert, said Taya. Okay Yugi, get a load of this, said Joey, while summoning Kagemusha of the Blue Flame in attack mode. Kagemusha of the Blue Flame. Attribute: Earth. Level: 2. Card type: Normal Monster. Monster type: Warrior. Card text: serving as a double for the ruler of the Blue Flame, he's a master swordsman that wields a fine blade. ATK 800 Def 400. Pretty good move, Yugi. Joey said, while smirking as Yugi nodded with a smile, before drawing a card. Yup. Pretty good move, but not good enough. Yugi said, while summoning Blackland Fire Dragon. Blackland Fire Dragon. Attribute. Dark. Level 3. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dragon. Card text. A dragon that dwells in the depths of darkness, its vulnerability lies in its poor eyesight. ATK 1500 DEF 800. What? Thanks a lot. A card that powerful totally wipes me out. Joey said, knowing he just lost the duel with that monster being summoned. Whoa, you stink at this game, Joey. Tristan commented, only for Naruto to whack him on the head. He's just started learning to play, while Yugi's been at it longer than both of us. Said Naruto. Yeah, and you did fine, Joey. I just have better cards. See, my grandpa owns a game shop and I get all my best cards from him. Yugi said. Your own game shop. What are we waiting for? Let's go, said Joey, eager for the chance to get some new cards for his deck. Okay, maybe I could even get my grandpa to show us this super rare card he's got. Yugi said, having heard his grandfather mention his rare card that he never took out. Unknown to the group of friends, someone overheard what they were talking about. That someone being Seto Kaiba, the CEO of Kaiba Corp. With Kaiba not caring about what a group of losers were talking about, only paying attention at the mentioning of a rare card. Rare card? Could they have found the card that I've been searching for? Kaiba thought, doubting it was the card he's looking for, but he also couldn't take the chance that it wasn't. He ignored it. Later. Grandpa, I'm home, Yugi said as he and his friends entered his grandfather's game shop with his grandfather, Solomon Muto, standing behind the counter. And I see you've brought company, Solomon said, while smiling at his grandson and his friends. Gramps, could you show my friends your awesome, super rare card? Yugi asked hopefully, with Solomon perking up at the mention of his most treasured card. Rare card? My special card, said Solomon, while thinking it over. Please, said Yugi while clapping his hands together. Pretty please, Joey said with a respectful bow, also wanting to see the card. How could I refuse? Solomon said with a smile, not minding showing them his card. You kids are in for a treat. I don't take this card out too often. Ready? Here it is. The Blue Eyes White Dragon, so rare, so powerful, I never let it leave my hands. Solomon said, taking out his rarest card and one of the most powerful cards in Duel Monsters. Awesome, Joey said, amazed at the card's power. Wow, said Naruto, after seeing how strong the Blue Eyes White Dragon is. Though to Solomon's horror, Tristan then grabbed the card out of his hand. It doesn't look all that special to me, Tristan said, not seeing the big deal about the card, only for Solomon to quickly take it back while Miho smacked Tristan on the arm. Tristan, you shouldn't just grab something like that, especially when it's something important to someone else. Miho chastised. Correct, young lady, and this card is priceless. There are only 4 of them in all the world, said Solomon, though that wasn't what he cared about. What he cared about was that it was given to him by his close friend. Speaking of priceless, I'm ready to trade, Joey said, eager to see what other cards he had here. Not for this card, stated Solomon, thinking Joey wanted the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Nah, I didn't mean that card. I meant, show me some other cool cards to get me started. Joey clarified, not even thinking of wanting the card after seeing how important it was to Yugi's grandfather. Hearing this, Solomon nodded, and was about to pull out some other cards to show them. Though before he could, everyone's attention turned towards the door and saw Kaiba standing there. Hello, can I help you? Solomon asked, with Kaiba making a tisk sound, now fully doubting that the card he was looking for was here. But on the off chance it was, he came prepared. If you can't, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. Kaiba stated. Seto Kaiba, Yugi said, surprised at seeing him of all people, here. What's someone like you doing here? Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes, while getting a bad feeling from Kaiba. Not that it's any of your business, but I came to see the card. Retorted Kaiba. Hey, are you into duel monsters too? This is perfect. Maybe we could all duel together, sometime. Joey said, smiling at meeting someone else who plays duel monsters, as well. Me. Duel you. I'd have more of a challenge playing solitaire. Said Kaiba, scoffing at the idea of dueling any of them as he walked into the shop. What? Joey said, upset at how Kaiba had just brushed him off when he was just trying to be nice. I am the #1 ranked duelist in the country and the favorite to win the Duel Monsters Championship. Ha! You wouldn't last 2 minutes in a duel against me. Kaiba stated, with Joey now getting angry. Ooh, I'm shaking. Maybe you'd like to settle this with fists instead of cards. Retorted Joey, now wanting to punch Kaiba in his face before Yugi stopped him. Whoa, take it easy, Joey. Yugi said, not wanting his friend to get in trouble by attacking the wrong person. But Yugi, Kaiba's asking for it, said Joey, before Naruto put a hand on his shoulder. Yugi's right, relax Joey. Besides, it's not worth it. Naruto said. Now does this shop have any worthwhile cards or not? Said Kaiba, wanting to get this trip over with before more of his time is wasted. Only for his eyes to widen, when he saw the Blue Eyes White Dragon card in a case on the counter. Can it be the Blue Eyes White Dragon in a dump like this? Kaiba said, not believing he's actually found the 4th Blue Eyes White Dragon here of all places. Well, enough window shopping. Is there anything else I can help you with? Solomon said, while closing the case, not liking how Kaiba was looking at his card. Growling, Kaiba slammed his briefcase on the counter, startling Solomon before looking in shock at the contents. With it consisting of rows upon rows of dual monster cards. Listen to me, old man. Gimme your Blue Eyes White Dragon card and I'll trade you all of these. Kaiba said, willing to give any amount of cards as long as he got that Blue Eyes White Dragon. Whoa, the others said, amazed at all the cards. Ah, nice. But no thanks, Solomon said. NNGH. Fine. If you won't trade, maybe you'll sell it. Name your price. I can pay anything you ask. Said Kaiba, refusing to give up until he had the card. I'm sure you could. But this card is worth more than you could ever offer. Not because of its power or because it's so rare, but because of what it means to me. This card was given to me by a dear friend of mine and so I treasure this card, as I do that friend. So parting with it is completely out of the question. Solomon said, knowing it wasn't the power or rarity of the blue eyes that made it valuable to him, but because of who gave it to him, while Kaiba couldn't believe what he was hearing. No, Kaiba growled. You'd feel the same even if it were a common card, right Grandpa? Yugi asked, with Solomon nodding at his grandson's words. Exactly. You see, this precious card has bonded with my heart. Solomon said, as Kaiba slammed his briefcase closed. Fine. I've heard enough of your nonsense. Senile old fool. Kaiba sneered as he left the shop, though mentally swore he would get that blue eyes. Though Naruto watched Kaiba leave with narrowed eyes. He's not going to stop until he gets that card. Naruto thought, knowing that someone like Kaiba was used to getting his way and when he didn't, he'd lash out until he got what he wanted. But not if Naruto had anything to say about, as he'd make sure Kaiba wouldn't get that card. Timeskip 1 day. The next day, Solomon had started cleaning up the shop in preparation to open for the day when he heard the door opening. Good morning. Solomon said while looking over his shoulder, only to frown when he saw three men wearing suits and could guess their intentions weren't good. My master Seto Kaiba challenges you to a duel. You may come with us now. The short lackey said, with Solomon turning to face them. And if I were to decline? Questioned Solomon, but figured they wouldn't take no for an answer. I'm afraid I must insist. The lackey said ominously as the other two thugs stepped forward. Young Kaiba doesn't understand, but I'll teach him a lesson about the heart of the cards. Solomon thought, refusing to be intimidated, and was more than willing to teach Kaiba a lesson about respecting the heart of the cards. Nodding, Solomon went and grabbed his deck along with the case containing his Blue Eyes White Dragon. Not wanting to risk Kaiba sending someone to steal it when he leaves. With that, Solomon followed the three lackeys to their car that drove towards Kaiba Corp. When they arrived, they took an elevator to one of the top floors, where Kaiba stood waiting for them. Ah, Mr. Muto, so kind of you join me for a duel. Kaiba said while smirking sinisterly. Not like I really had a choice. And this is what you wanted, correct? Said Solomon while holding up the card case. Yes, but I like to think I'm a fair man. So rather than just taking it, I'm going to win it in a duel. You against me, with the winner getting the loser's rarest card. In other words, the winner will have all 4 Blue Eyes White Dragon cards. Kaiba said while pulling out the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon cards he's recently obtained, with Solomon frowning at seeing the other 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. So that's why you want my Blue Eyes White Dragon. You want to make sure it can never be used against you. Said Solomon, given the Blue Eyes White Dragon was one of the strongest cards in the game and just having one could make a duelist nearly impossible to defeat. So do you have a brain, old man? Just not when it comes to a good deal, like yesterday. Now, show me the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Kaiba demanded, wanting to make sure he actually brought it with him. Nodding, Solomon opened the case, only to be shocked and worried when he saw that his Blue Eyes White Dragon was gone and instead was replaced by a note. Grabbing the note, Solomon opened it to find out who stole his card. Though when he read it, Solomon couldn't help but laugh at seeing what happened. What are you laughing about, old man? And where's the blue eyes? Kaiba demanded in anger, only for Solomon to hand him the note. It's for you, said Solomon as he grinned at Kaiba, knowing that his reaction will be priceless. Snatching the note, Kaiba looked at it to see what it said, only for his scowl to darken at seeing who left it. Dear rich brat, if you're reading this, then I was right and you tried to steal Yugi's grandfather's Blue Eyes White Dragon card. But if you want it so bad, you could always try dueling me, unless you're scared, Mr. Number 1 Duelist. Signed, Naruto Uzumaki. P.S. Sorry for stealing your card, Mr. Muto, but I didn't want you to end up losing it to Kaiba and never seeing it again. I'll make sure to return it, after dealing with Kaiba. Uzumaki. Kaiba growled, while crumbling up the note as Solomon chuckled lightly at how Naruto outsmarted Kaiba. Normally, he'd be angry over someone stealing his Blue Eyes White Dragon, like that. But he couldn't help but praise Naruto for his quick thinking and making sure Kaiba couldn't get his hands on it. It made him glad that Yugi has found such a good friend. Would you like us to go get him, Mr. Kaiba? Asked one of the lackeys. Tisk. No, tie up the old man and I'll make sure Naruto is brought here, myself. Kaiba said, swearing to make Naruto pay for this humiliation and get that Blue Eyes White Dragon. Later, with Naruto and company. Asterisk. After school ended for the day, Naruto, Yugi, Joey, Tristan, Taya and Miho headed for the game shop. Hey Naruto, Yugi, Joey. Do you think you'd be able to teach me how to play Duel Monsters? Miho asked, interested in learning to play Duel Monsters as well, since the game seemed really fun. I could teach you, offered Tristan, while smiling at the chance to impress Miho. You don't even play Duel Monsters. You didn't even say the name right, yesterday. Joey stated, with his words making Tristan falter while the others laughed. And yeah, sure Miho, we could teach you. Yugi said while smiling, with Miho nodding in thanks. It wasn't long, until they arrived at the game shop and went inside. Okay Gramps, I'm back to get more cards. Hey Gramps, Joey called out, eager to see what other cards he had, only for them to be confused when they didn't see Solomon behind the counter. Grandpa, I'm home, Yugi said, thinking he was in another part of the building but didn't get a response, making him worried of where his grandfather is. Maybe he went out. Taya suggested. Maybe. But why would he leave the door unlocked? Joey muttered while frowning. Before anyone could say anything, the phone started ringing with Yugi answering it. Hello. Game shop. Yugi said. Ah, Yugi. Perfect. Kaiba, said Yugi, now suspicious of why Kaiba was calling while his grandfather was gone. Your grandfather's here visiting, but he's not feeling well. Why don't you come by my office and pick him up? Kaiba, what have you done, Kaiba? Yugi demanded, only for Kaiba to hang up. Hanging up the phone, Yugi quickly ran out the shop with his friends following after him, knowing Kaiba was involved in Solomon's disappearance after that phone call. Later, after arriving at Kaiba Corp, the group took an elevator up the floor where Kaiba was waiting for them. Upon their arrival, they saw Kaiba and his lackeys waiting for them, along with Solomon tied to a chair. Grandpa, Kaiba, let my grandpa go now, Yugi shouted, angry at seeing his grandfather tied up. Fine, I already have what I want anyway, Kaiba said, motioning his men to untie Solomon, who walked over to his grandson and his friends once he was free. Grandpa, are you alright? Are you hurt? Why did Kaiba do this? Yugi asked, worried for his grandfather. I'm perfectly fine, Yugi. As for why Kaiba did this, he wanted my blue eyes white dragon. But your friend here seemed to have outsmarted him, Solomon said while looking at Naruto with a chuckle, making the other looking at the whiskered blonde, who pulled out Solomon's blue eyes white dragon card, shocking them. Naruto, you stole that? Yugi asked. Though he wasn't really upset since given the circumstances, Yugi realized that Naruto had predicted what Kaiba was going to do and outsmarted him. While stealing someone's cards is usually looked down upon in Duel Monsters, they could understand that right now, it was a necessary evil. Yeah, given how Kaiba was trying to get it, I doubted he would give up until he had it. So I took it so he couldn't take it, Naruto said, since while Yugi, Solomon and the others weren't angry, he still felt that he needed to explain himself. You're right, I won't stop until I get that blue eyes. You taking it was just a minor setback. And you said if I wanted it, I had to duel you, then alright, let's duel. Kaiba said, eager to get the blue eyes card and pay Naruto back for the humiliation. I'll duel you, but not for the blue eyes since it's not mine to wager, stated Naruto, only for Solomon to put a hand on his shoulder. Naruto, I'm giving you permission to use the blue eyes white dragon. Your quick thinking is what made sure Kaiba didn't get it, and that makes you the best choice to show him the power of the heart of the cards, Solomon said, with Naruto looking at him in surprise before nodding as he looked at Kaiba. Alright, I hope you're ready to duel, Kaiba, said Naruto, before Yugi stepped forward as well. I hope you don't mind if I join in, Yugi said, wanting to duel against Kaiba as well for kidnapping his grandfather. HMPH, fine. If you want a tag duel then you'll have one. Meet my sister Rin Tasaka, Kaiba said as a door opened behind him and out walked a girl their age. Rin had aqua-colored eyes, long wavy brown hair in twin tail with her attire consisted of a red turtleneck, a black skirt and long black socks, under brown leather flats. Sister, Joey said, surprised that Kaiba had a sister. That's right, she was adopted alongside my younger brother and I by the late Gozaburo Kaiba. She's also the number 2 duelist in the country. The only reason why our familial connection isn't that well known is due to her refusing to take our adoptive father's last name," said Kaiba as Rin smirked at them. "Hope you're ready to lose," Rin said. "Bring it, sweetheart," retorted Naruto. "Yugi, take my deck and teach these youngsters what it means to respect the heart of the cards," Solomon said, handing Yugi his deck with the tricolored hair boy nodding in determination. With that, Kaiba and Rin guided Naruto and Yugi into a large stadium with the tag partners both going to 2 pods that rose into the air. While Solomon, Joey, Tristan, Miho and Taya stood in the stands on the side. "I designed this virtual stadium myself. Impressive, I think you'll agree that it adds a bit more life to the game. Given this is a tag duel, each side will have 4,000 life points and the team to hit 0 first, loses. Are you ready to play, losers?" Kaiba said while smirking. "Play time is over, Kaiba," Yugi said, before to the surprise of Naruto, Kaiba, Rin, Solomon and their friends, Yugi's necklace, the Millennium Puzzle, started glowing. "Yu-Gi-Oh! What is that?" Naruto thought in shock when he saw that Yugi was suddenly taller and his expression has become more stern. "That's one of the," thought Rin in shock, now recognizing what was around Yugi's neck. "What the?" Kiba said, not sure what is to make of what he just saw. I always thought that my eyes and ears were playing tricks on me when Yugi's demeanor changed like that, with him simply getting serious. I didn't think that it was some kind of transformation," Joey muttered as the others nodded in agreement, having never actually seen Yugi transform all those times they were in danger and he stepped in to help them. "Now prepare yourself, Kaiba, because it's time to duel," Yami said. "Duel. SR 4000. NY 4000. My move. And I'll start by summoning the mighty Hitotsu-me giant in attack mode," Kaiba said before, much to Naruto and Yugi's surprise, Hitotsu-me giant suddenly appeared in the arena. Hitotsu-me giant. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Beast warrior. Card text. A one-eyed behemoth with thick, powerful arms made for delivering punishing blows. ATK 1200 DEF 1000. Whoa. Real duel monsters, Joey said in shock. "This is amazing," said Solomon, awed at seeing duel monsters come to life. "He's brought the monster on the card to life," said Yami, shocked at what he was seeing. "This just got a lot harder," Naruto said with his eyes wide open, not sure what to make of this. "It's my virtual simulator. It creates lifelike holograms of every duel monster. And now, you'll experience dueling like never before," Kaiba said before ending his turn. "All right, my turn. And I'll summon Fourth Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress," said Yami, as the blue dragon appeared on his and Naruto's side of the field. Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress. Attribute. Wind. Level. 4. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dragon. Card text. A dragon commonly found guarding mountain fortresses. Its signature attack is a sweeping dive from out of the blue. ATK 1400 DEF 1200. "Now go, fireball attack," said Yami as his dragon unleashed a fireball, destroying Kaiba's giant and lowering his and Rin's life points. SR 4200 equals 3800. Seto. "Rin, are you guys alright?" said Makuba Kaiba, Rin and Kaiba's younger brother, as he came running out. "We're fine, Makuba, just stay back," Rin said, before drawing a card and smirking at what she had. "First, I play the spell card Heart of the Underdog. Now every time I draw a normal monster, I get to draw again," said Rin while playing her spell card. Heart of the Underdog. Card type. Continuous spell. Effect. During your draw phase, when you draw a normal monsters, you can reveal it, draw one more card. Now I summon Ruby Dragon in attack mode," Rin said, while summoning a large dragon covered in rubies. Ruby Dragon. Attribute. Wind. Level. 4. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dragon. Card text. A very beautiful dragon covered with ruby. It does not like fights, but has incredibly high defense power. ATK 1600 DEF 1200. No, destroy their winged dragon. Rin commanded as Ruby Dragon roared and unleashed a red blast that destroyed Winged Dragon, and damaged Naruto and Yami's life points. NY 4200 equals 3800. I end my turn, Rin said while smirking. Okay. My draw then, said Naruto, while drawing a card. I play my own spell card Graceful Charity, letting me draw 3 new cards at the cost of sending 2 to the graveyard. Said Naruto as he played his own spell card. Graceful Charity. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. Now I'll summon Thunder Dragon in attack mode. Said Naruto as the large green, serpentine dragon appeared on the field. Thunder Dragon. Attribute. Thunder. Level. 5. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Dragon. Effect. You can discard this card, add up to 2 inches Thunder Dragon, from your deck to your hand. ATK 1600 DEF 1500. Now, I activate the spell card Fisher to destroy Ruby Dragon and end my turn. Said Naruto as a large fissure formed with a hand coming out of it, before pulling Ruby Dragon into it. I draw, Kaiba said, while drawing a card and adding it to his hand. Now I summon Sagi the Dark Clown in attack mode. Said Kaiba, as the large clown appeared on the field. Sagi the Dark Clown. Attribute. Dark. Level. 3. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Spellcaster. Card text. This clown appears from nowhere and executes very strange moves to avoid enemy attacks. ATK 600 Def 1500. Sagi. But that monster hardly has any attack points. Yami said while frowning. True, my clown might not be able to destroy your friend's Thunder Dragon, but with this it will be. Go. Negative energy generator. Said Kaiba, while playing a spell card. Negative energy generator. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Select one face-up dark monster you control. Triple its original ATK. Sagi the Dark Clown. ATK 600 Def 1500 ATK 1800 DEF 1500. Now Dark Clown. Attack with Dark Light. Ordered Kaiba as Sagi launched a blast of dark energy at Thunder Dragon, destroying it and lower Naruto and Yami's life points further. NY 3800 200 equals 3600. Alright, my turn again. Yami said drawing a card and adding it to his hand. I set one monster face down and end my turn. Said Yami. Then it's my turn. And look at that. I drew a normal monster, so that's another card for me. Said Rin, drawing one card then drawing another, thanks to Heart of the Underdog. Now, I summon Luster Dragon in attack mode. Said Rin, summoning a dragon identical to Ruby Dragon, but covered in sapphires instead of rubies. Luster Dragon. Attribute. Wind. Level. 4. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dragon. Card text. A very beautiful dragon covered with sapphire. It does not like fights, but has incredibly high attack power. ATK 1900 DEF 1600. Now go Luster Dragon, attack the set monster. Rin said with her Luster Dragon roaring and blasting the set monster, which was revealed to be Big Shield Gardna. Big Shield Gardna. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Effect Monster. Monster type. Warrior. Effect. During either player's turn, when this face-down card, and no other cards, is targeted by a spell card, change this card to face-up defense position, and if you do, negate the spell card's activation. If this card is attacked, Change it to attack position at the end of the damage step. ATK 100 def 2600. Not so fast, my Gardena's defense is higher than your dragon's attack. So he's safe, said Yami as Gardena's shield withstood the attack, while Rin and Kaiba's life points lowered. SR 3800, 700 equals 3100. Tisk, maybe, but now he's forced into attack mode. Rin stated as Big Shield Gardena stood up from his kneeling position. Okay, my draw, said Naruto, drawing a card and saw what he had before smirking. I play the spell card, Silver's Cry, said Naruto as Rin and Kaiba's eyes widened at the sight of the spell card, knowing exactly what it did. Silver's Cry, card type, normal spell. Effect. Target one dragon normal monster in your GY, special summon the target. You can only activate 1-inch Silver's Cry, per turn. And with it, I'll bring back Blue Eyes White Dragon, said Naruto as the mighty dragon appeared on the field, giving a loud roar. Blue Eyes White Dragon, attribute, light, level, 8, card type, normal monster. Monster type, dragon, card text. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible, very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. ATK 3000 def 2500. What? When did you send that to the graveyard? Rin said before her eyes widened, remembering the 2 cards Naruto sent to the graveyard with graceful charity. I see you remember the cards I discarded with graceful charity, with Blue Eyes being one of them. But that's not all, now I play the spell card Sharing the Pain. Do you mind, Yugi? Naruto asked as he played the spell card. Not at all, Naruto. Yami said, knowing that with Big Shield Gardena now in attack mode, they were now open to take major damage. With that, Naruto and Yugi tributed the Big Shield Gardena, forcing Kaiba and Rin to tribute one of their monsters. With them choosing Sagi the Dark Clown. And since I special summoned Blue Eyes, I can still normal summon a monster and I choose my Alexandrite Dragon. Naruto said while summoning a dragon with dark green, almost black, multicolored jewel-covered scales, a white underbelly, grayish-violet wings and amber eyes. Alexandrite Dragon, attribute, light, level, 4, card type, normal monster. Monster type, dragon, card text. Many of the Tsar's lost jewels can be found in the scales of this priceless dragon. Its creator remains a mystery, along with how they acquired the imperial treasures. But whosoever finds this dragon has hit the jackpot, whether they know it or not. ATK 2000 DEF 100. Now go Blue Eyes, attack Luster Dragon with burst stream of destruction. Naruto said as Blue Eyes roared before unleashing a blast of energy that destroyed Luster Dragon, while dealing significant damage to Rin and Kaiba's life points. SR 3100, 100 equals 2000. Yes. Well done Naruto. Yami said, glad at the amount of damage he dealt, but knew they weren't out of the woods yet. Even if they now have 2 powerful monsters on their side of the field. Grr. You'll pay for that Uzumaki, said Kaiba, furious at seeing the Blue Eyes White Dragon be used against him like that, especially by someone he considered a third-rate duelist. Though he soon smirked wickedly when he saw the card that he drew. If you want to make this a battle of dragons, then I'll give you one. Come forth, Blue Eyes White Dragon, said Kaiba, summoning his own Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now go. Destroy Alexandrite Dragon with burst stream of destruction, said Kaiba, his own blue eyes unleashing a blast that destroyed the weaker dragon and dealing even more damage to Naruto and Yami. NY3600, 1000 equals 2600. I end my turn, Kaiba said, smirking while Naruto and Yami grit their teeth and steadied themselves from the powerful attack. Alright, I draw. And I'll summon the giant soldier of stone in defense mode. said Yami while summoning the bulky golem onto the field. Giant Soldier of Stone. Attribute: Earth. Level 3. Card type: Normal monster. Monster type: Rock. Card text: A giant warrior made of stone. A punch from this creature has earth-shaking results. ATK 1300 DEF 2000. I end my turn, said Yami, knowing there wasn't much he could do against Kaiba's blue eyes. My draw then, Rin said, frowning since it wasn't a normal monster, so no extra card. I summon Luster Dragon number 2 in attack mode, said Rin while summoning a giant dragon covered in emeralds. Luster Dragon number 2. Attribute: Wind. Level 6. Card type: Normal monster. Monster type: Dragon. Card text: This dragon feeds on emerald. Enchanted by this monster even when attacked, few people live to tell of its beauty. ATK 2400 Def 1400. Now attack their stone soldier. Rin ordered as her Luster Dragon number 2 roaring and unleashing a green beam at the giant soldier of stone, destroying it. But thankfully, their life points were spared due to giant soldier of stone being in defense mode. Okay, back to me then, said Naruto, drawing a card while smirking at seeing what he drew. Hope you aren't too attached to that blue eyes, Kaiba. Because it's going straight to the graveyard, said Naruto. Tisk, you're stupider than you look. If you attack, you'll destroy both our dragons while leaving yourselves wide open, said Kaiba, with Naruto's smirk not leaving his face. Not with mist body equipped to it, said Naruto while equipping his blue eyes with the equip spell. Mist body. Card type: Equip spell. Effect: The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. Now go blue eyes, attack Kaiba's own dragon, said Naruto as both blue eyes white dragons roared and unleashed blasts that collided with each other, causing an explosion that rocked the stadium, with Kaiba's dragon being destroyed while Naruto's dispersed into mist before reforming itself. Now, I'll set one card and end my turn, Naruto said as he placed a card face down in the spell and trap card zone. You'll pay for that, said Kaiba while drawing a card, angered at his dragon's destruction, before smirking at what he drew. Don't get too excited Uzumaki, because I now summon my second blue eyes white dragon, said Kaiba, summoning a second blue eyes in place of the first. Now I play Mystical Space Typhoon and destroy Mist Body, Kaiba said, playing his spell card and destroying Naruto's equip spell. Mystical Space Typhoon. Card type: Quick Play spell. Effect: Destroy one spell or trap card on the field. Now, I attack with blue eyes white dragon, Kaiba said, intent on destroying Naruto's dragon and proving that he is the sole master of the blue eyes white dragon. On command, Kaiba's blue eyes let out a blast of blue energy that Naruto's dragon met with its own. I thought you would do that, which is why I activate reinforcements, Naruto said, activating the trap card as a battalion of soldiers appeared on the field before dispersing in multiple flashes of light that flew straight to Naruto's dragon. Reinforcements. Card type: Normal trap. Effect: Target face-up monster gains 500 ATK until the end phase. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK, 3000 Def, 2500 ATK, 3500 Def, 2500. With the soldiers from the trap card adding their energy to Naruto's Blue Eyes White Dragon, its attack was able to tear through the blast that Kaiba's dragon unleashed, destroying it and bringing down the siblings' life points even further. SR 2500 equals 1500. I'm not going to let you destroy this dragon, Kaiba. Not so long as I can help it, Naruto said as his Blue Eyes White Dragon's attack returned to normal from Kaiba ending his turn. Something that made Blue Eyes give a small growl in gratitude, surprising Naruto before he smiled at the dragon. You're welcome, Naruto said before both his and Blue Eyes White Dragon's attention turned back to their opponents. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK, 3500 def, 2500 ATK, 3000 def, 2500. Calm down Seto, we can't afford to have any more mistake in this duel. Rin exclaimed to her brother, as Kaiba took some breaths to calm down, knowing that his sister was right. Alright, I draw, Yami said, frowning since while they managed to keep the lead, he knew that Rin and Kaiba could still make a comeback. Especially since he was sure that if Kaiba had 2 of the 4 Blue Eyes White Dragon cards, he most likely had a third in his deck as well. I activate Swords of Revealing Light, stopping any of your attacks for 3 turns. Yami said, knowing that while it may seem like a waste of a move, it would give them time to strategize a means to maintain their lead in this duel and win. Swords of Revealing Light. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Flip all monsters your opponent controls face up. This card remains on the field for 3 of your opponent's turns. While this card is face up on the field, monsters your opponent controls cannot declare an attack. My draw, Rin said before smirking as she drew another normal monster and drew another card before ending her turn, since she couldn't do anything at the moment. Swords of Revealing Light. 1. And back to me again, said Naruto, drawing a card. And I'll equip my Blue Eyes with Dark Pendant, increasing its attack points by 500. Naruto said, playing another equip spell as a pendant appeared around his Blue Eyes White Dragon's neck, restoring its 500-point ATK boost. Black Pendant. Card type. Equip spell. Effect. The equipped monster gains 500 ATK. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK, 3000 def, 2500 ATK, 3500 def, 2500. You're really starting to get on my nerves, Naruto, said Kaiba, drawing a card only to smirking wickedly at seeing the cards he had in his hand and knew he'd be able to win this, after those swords were gone. First I'll summon my 3rd Blue Eyes to the field, Kaiba said, summoning his final dragon. Next I'll play Monster Reborn, bringing back one of the Blue Eyes you destroyed, said Kaiba as one of his destroyed Blue Eyes returned to the field. Monster Reborn. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Target one monster in either GY, special summon it. Then I play Premature Burial and at the cost of 800 life points, I can bring back my 3rd Blue Eyes, said Kaiba, now having all 3 of his dragons back on the field. Premature Burial. Card type. Equip spell. Effect. Activate this card by paying 800 LP, then target one monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in attack position and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. SR1 500, 800 equals 700. But that's not all, now I activate Dispel to destroy your black pendant, Kaiba said as he played the spell card. Dispel. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Target one face-up spell, or one set spell trap, on the field, destroy that target if it is a spell. If the target is set, reveal it. Blue Eyes White Dragon. ATK, 3500 def, 2500 ATK, 3000 def, 2500. While you may have gotten rid of my dragon's power boost, Kaiba, don't forget that you now take 500 points of damage by destroying my Blake pendant, Naruto said as the burn effect from his equip spell activated. SR 700 to 500 equals 200. Seto. We only have 200 points left. Rin hissed, angered at how overconfident and reckless her brother was acting. Relax Rin, by the time it's my next turn, we'll have won, said Kaiba, assured that they'll win. Swords of Revealing Light. 2. Alright, my move, said Yami, while drawing a card and frowned at seeing he still didn't have anything. I set one monster face down, Yami said, wanting to boost their defenses, just in case Naruto's dragon was destroyed after the Swords of Revealing Light expired. My draw then, Rin said, drawing a card, and was relieved at what she drew. I activate Dian Keto the Cure Master, said Rin, while playing her spell card. Dian Keto the Cure Master. Card type: Normal spell. Effect: target one monster in either GY, special summon it. SR 200 plus 1000 equals 1200. At least this way, they'd be able to survive an attack from Naruto's dragon, if he was able to once again outsmart her brother in whatever strategy he had. Rin then ended her turn, and with that, the Swords of Revealing Light vanished. Swords of Revealing Light 3. And with that, this duel will be over on my next turn. So go ahead, and draw your last pathetic card, Naruto. Kaiba said, having exactly what he needs to win. Gritting his teeth, Naruto placed his hand on top of his deck, hoping that he'll draw a card that'll help them win the duel this turn. Drawing a card, Naruto's eyes widened when he saw the card he drew, before he smirked at the siblings. You're about to regret having all those dragons. Because now I summon the Dragon Slayer, Buster Blader, said Naruto while summoning forth the legendary warrior, with Buster Blader appearing as he swung his large sword. Buster Blader. Attribute: Earth. Level 7. Card type: Effect Monster. Monster type: Warrior. Effect: gains 500 ATK for each dragon monster your opponent controls or is in their GY. ATK 2600, def 2300. And that sword's not just for show. Thanks to my Blader's ability, he gains 500 attack points for every dragon-type monster you two have on the field and in the graveyard. And right now, I count 6 in total. And you know what that means, Kaiba. Naruto said while smirking at Kaiba as his eyes widened in shock at Buster Blader's attack points increasing dramatically. Buster Blader. ATK 2600, def 2300, ATK 5600, def 2300. What? That's impossible, Kaiba shouted, knowing exactly what was about to happen. Oh, it's very possible. Now go Buster Blader, destroy Kaiba's middle blue eyes white dragon with destruction sword flash. Naruto said as Buster Blader charged forward and leapt into the air before bringing his blade down on Kaiba's dragon, slicing it straight through the middle and destroying it, while wiping out the last of Kaiba's and Rin's life points as the siblings cried out from the powerful attack. SR 1200, 2600 equals minus 1400. Ah, impossible. Seto and Rin never lose. Makuba said, shocked at seeing his siblings lose a duel. You play only for power, Kaiba, Rin, and that is why you lost. But if you put your heart in the game, there is nothing you can't do. Yami said, amazed at Naruto's attack and glad that he was able to duel alongside him. But how? How could we have lost to you two? Rin said, not believing they actually lost the duel, while was slumped over the dueling panel of their pod in shock at their defeat. How could I have lost to a couple of amateurs that haven't dueled in a single tournament? I had 3 of the 4 blue eyes white dragons on the field, while they only had 1. Kaiba thought, unable to comprehend what just happened, while looking at one of the cards in his hand, polymerization. With it, he could have combined his dragons into a beast that would have crushed Naruto and Yugi. If you truly want to know, open your mind. Penalty game. Mind crush. Yami said as the eye of Jot appeared on his forehead and threw his hand towards the siblings. Rin and Kaiba gasped as Yami banished the evil within them, before they fell to their knees. There, maybe now, you will both begin to see, said Yami before allowing Yugi to regain control. Naruto and Yugi exited the duel arena, where they were greeted by their friends and Yugi's grandfather. Oh man, that was a sweet duel you guys. Joey said, smiling in amazement at the duel. Yeah, that was awesome, said Tristan. Indeed, you both believed in yourselves and your decks. Well done both of you. Solomon said while smiling at them proudly. Thanks Grandpa, but we couldn't have done it without your help. Yugi said, knowing they were able to win thanks to his deck in Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, thank you for letting me use your blue eyes. I couldn't have done it without it, said Naruto while holding out the Blue Eyes White Dragon to give it back to Solomon. Only for them to be surprised when Solomon smiled and pushed Naruto's hand back. After seeing the way you use the Blue Eyes White Dragon, being able to use it to defeat multiple copies of itself and keep it on the field, I believe you are more than deserving to keep it, Solomon said, much to their shock. But Grandpa, that's your most treasured card, Yugi said with Solomon nodding. It is, but it's also a powerful card and deserves to be used in duels, not collecting dust in a box, said Solomon, knowing that he can entrust Naruto with the Blue Eyes White Dragon, just as how Arthur had entrusted it to him when he saved his life. I don't know what to say, said Naruto, shocked that Solomon was letting him keep the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Don't say anything. All you have to do is use it and use it wisely, Solomon said with Naruto nodding in thanks. I will, and thank you, said Naruto, while smiling at the Blue Eyes White Dragon before swearing he heard it growl in approval. With that, the group left Kaiba Corp triumphantly. Though unknown to them, Naruto and Yugi's duel had been recorded and monitored by an unknown third party, with the person paying particularly close attention to Yugi's Millennium Puzzle and Naruto's ring as well. Well now, isn't this an interesting turn of events? Thought the person, smirking as their golden eye glinted in the darkness. So, what did you think? Good. Yep, Naruto has gained not only a dual monsters deck for his 16th birthday but also a mysterious family ring, with a very familiar symbol on it. We then see Naruto befriending Yugi and the gang and learning how to play dual monsters. We then skip to see Yugi teaching Joey as well before they all head over to the game shop to see Solomon's Blue Eyes White Dragon card, with Kaiba's attempts to take it, with Naruto also making sure Kaiba doesn't get his hands on it. We then see Solomon being taken to Kaiba Corp to duel against Kaiba only to see Naruto has taken the blue eyes and left a note explaining it. The gang then arrives at Kaiba Corp themselves and learn what's happened, with Naruto and Yugi dueling against Kaiba and his adoptive sister Rin Tasaka. There will be no Grail War, with Solomon giving Yugi his deck and allowing Naruto to use his blue eyes. It takes some time but Naruto and Yami manage to come out the winners, with Naruto using Buster Blader and Yami banishing the evil from Rin and Kaiba, the latter of whom would have brought out his ultimate monster had Naruto not drawn Buster Blader. Finally, Solomon has allowed Naruto to keep the Blue Eyes White Dragon, seeing how well he used it, along with Pegasus having seen the entire duel but had his attention on Yugi's puzzle and Naruto's ring. Now before we end the chapter, here's an alternate note Naruto had made for Kaiba. Naruto's alternate note. It's for you, said Solomon as he grinned at Kaiba, knowing that his reaction will be priceless. Snatching the note, Kaiba looked at it to see what it said, only for his scowl to darken at seeing who left it. It just says, "Dear rich brat," and has a picture of a butt. Kaiba said with a scowl, which only got darker after he read the note. Quote. 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 All of you, search for the Blue Eyes White Dragon card or you're fired. Now, Kaiba exclaimed in pure, unadulterated rage. Can I see it? Rin asked as she entered the room while trying to keep a straight face. Joey, make a move already, Tristan said, as the group sat around a table, with Joey and Taya sitting across from each other. A few days have passed since Naruto and Yugi's tag duel against Kaiba and Rin, with things having started going back to normal, with Naruto also having made a few changes to his deck, to better incorporate the Blue Eyes White Dragon card, that Solomon had let him keep. Hey Bakura, have you thought of learning to play dual monsters? Yugi asked, while looking at their white-haired friend, who was also watching the duel. I have, actually. It looks really fun, so I went out and got a couple booster packs to start building my own deck. Replied Bakura, having been intrigued at playing duel monsters, even more so, when he was told about Naruto and Yugi's duel against the Kaiba siblings. Really? What do you have, so far? Asked Naruto, with Yugi also being interested to see what kind of deck Bakura would use. Here, have a look, and tell me what you think. Bakura said, while pulling out his deck and handing it to Yugi, with him and Naruto looking over his cards. Though while everyone was either focused on the duel or looking over Bakura's cards, none of them noticed how Bakura's expression suddenly darkened and became more sinister. This was the spirit of the Millennium Ring, which was currently in Bakura's possession, known as Yami Bakura. Yami Bakura glanced at Yugi's Millennium Puzzle, wishing nothing more than to take it, right now. But knew that he had to be patient and wait for the right moment to start collecting the Millennium items. Though his interest then turned to Naruto's ring, and narrowed his eyes at the Eye of Jot, and the power he sensed within it. Now how exactly did he come across a Millennium item? And one that isn't a part of the original 7, at that. Yami Bakura thought, knowing his Millennium Ring was the original one, and yet now, it seems he's found another Millennium Ring. While intrigued about where it came from, Yami Bakura also had his suspicions on the location of its origins. Along with thinking of ways where he could use it to his advantage. Yami Bakura then quickly relinquished control back to Bakura, as Naruto and Yugi looked at him. These are some great cards, Bakura, and a good start to forming an anti-meta deck. Yugi said, while handing Bakura his cards back. Yeah, with the right additions, you'd be able to stop your opponent from using any strategies they have, or at least stall them. Said Naruto, as he added his own 2 cents on Bakura's deck. Cool, I'll be sure to finish it, soon. Maybe after that, we could duel each other. Bakura said, while smiling at the duo. Yeah, that'd be fun. Naruto replied, with Yugi nodding in agreement, before they turned back to the duel between Joey and Taya. Okay. Here you go, tough guy. My rock ogre's gonna rock your block off. Joey said, while summoning Rock Ogre Grotto number 1. Rock Ogre Grotto number 1. Attribute. Earth. Level. 3. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Rock. Card text. Protected by a solid body of rock, this monster throws a bone-shattering punch. ATK 800 Def 1200. Taya hummed, before putting Happy Lover in attack mode. Happy Lover. Attribute. Light. Level. 2. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Fairy. Card text. Enemies become overjoyed when struck by the heart ray emitted from the forehead of this tiny cherub. ATK 800 Def 500. Yeah, Taya, like that wimpy card has a chance against my giant rock guy. They'll just destroy each other, and I'll summon another monster, next turn. Give it up, Joey said, confident in his win. I guess I don't stand a chance, unless maybe I use the Breath of Life card. Said Taya, while smirking as she played her spell card. Breath of Life. Card type. Normal spell. Effect. Destroy all face-up rock-type monsters on the field. Huh, can she do that? Joey asked. Oh yeah, the Breath of Life wears down rock monsters. It reduces them to rubble. Yugi said, smiling in amusement, as Joey looked in shock, as he had to remove his monster from the field, leaving himself wide open. That brings your life points down to 0, Joey. Once again, you lose, and I rock. Said Taya proudly. You stink at this game. Tristan stated, only for Miho to hit him on the head. And you still can't play the game. Said Miho, smirking, as Tristan lowered his head. Later. Tristan's right, guys. I do stink. I can't win at Duel Monsters, to save my life. What is it? Why can't I ever win? Teach me what I'm doing wrong. Joey said, while leaning against a metal bar, with Naruto standing beside him, and Yugi sitting on another bar, next to them. Well, let's start by checking your deck, Joey. Yugi said, while hopping down. Yeah, show us what cards you have, and we'll go from there. Added Naruto. Huh, K. Here you go. Joey said, while handing his deck to Naruto. Naruto and Yugi looked through Joey's cards, with their brows slowly raising up, the more they saw. Quite the powerhouse line, don't you think? Said Joey, proud of the cards that he had in his deck. Yeah, they're really strong, Joey, and a good basis for a beatdown strategy. Naruto said, with Yugi nodding in agreement. Yeah, but Joey, your deck's filled with nothing but monster cards. Stated Yugi, now seeing the reason for why Joey can't win. You got it, I packed it with every butt-kicking monster I could find. Joey replied. But that's not how the game works. Duel Monsters is all about combining your monster cards with your spell and trap cards, to increase their strength and countering your opponent's moves. With no spells or traps in your deck, your monsters will be creamed every time. Explained Yugi. Ha, see, that's the kind of stuff that I need to know. You've gotta help me learn more. Joey said, knowing Naruto and Yugi knew more about Duel Monster, and could help him get better. Then you'd be better asking my grandpa. I learned everything that I know from him. We could go to the game shop now and see if he'd be willing to help you. Said Yugi, with Joey grinning widely at this. Great. Then let's get going. Joey said, running off towards the game shop, with Naruto and Yugi chasing after him. Later. Hey Grandpa, I brought you a new student. Yugi said, as the three boys entered the game shop, to see Solomon standing on a ladder, putting up a poster. Looking at the poster, they saw it was advertising the upcoming National Duel Monsters tournament, with a 3 million yen prize. With the poster sporting an image of Black Luster Soldier and Harpy's pet dragon on it. Huh, a student? Solomon asked, while climbing off the ladder. I was hoping, since you know more about Duel Monsters than anyone, maybe you'd teach me. Joey said. Teach you? Duel Monsters is a very complex game. Solomon stated, knowing he wouldn't be able to teach Joey anything, and that gaining experience was the best way to learn the game. Not to say that he couldn't teach him, just that he couldn't teach him everything he'd need to know. Yeah, tell me about it. Taya beat me 3 games in a row. Joey said, still down about his losses. Actually, Taya beat you 5 times in a row, Joey. Naruto corrected, while smirking at his friend. 5. Aw man, muttered Joey, before his attention turned to the posted, advertising the tournament, specifically the prize money that goes to the winner. That'd be enough for Serenity's operation. Joey thought, knowing that 3 million yen would help pay for his sister's eye operation. Yes, I could teach you to be a great tournament duelist. But only if you're willing to spend endless days and sleepless nights, filled with rigorous training. Solomon said, not understanding the real reason, as to why Joey was looking at the poster. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Replied Joey, knowing he'd do whatever he could, if it meant helping his sister. Solomon looked at Joey intently, trying to see if his words were just talk, or if he had what it takes. After a few moments, he finally nodded. Fine, then we'll begin your instruction immediately, my young friend. And believe me, under my tutelage, you will learn. Solomon said. Give it your best, Gramps. I can take it, said Joey, as Solomon smirked at him, knowing he'll soon regret those words. Timeskip 4 weeks. Good evening Duel fans, and our 10 million viewers at home, welcome to the Duel Monsters Duel Dome. Where tonight, the Duel Monsters National Championship will be decided. Of the 200 duelists who have competed in this marathon tournament, only 2 competitors remain standing. Put your cards together for Weevil Underwood, the bug brawler. His opponent, the number 1 ranked Dino duelist, Rex Raptor. Bug Boy vs Dinosaur Man, what kind of match is that? That should have been me, out there. Joey said, while crossing his arms, as he, Yugi and Naruto sat on a couch, while Taya, Miho, and Tristan were sitting in chairs. Joey was still upset that he had lost the tournament, after getting so far in it, and after all of his training with Solomon. The latter of which still sent shivers up Joey's spine, when he thought about it. He still had nightmares about Solomon, and that Bakken he used during training. You actually did pretty good in the tournament, Joey. Yugi said, with the others nodding in agreement. Yeah, and your last opponent was Mako Tsunami, who just came in 3rd place. So, it's understandable that you lost to him, said Miho, with Joey sighing, knowing it was true. Yeah, I guess, and it just means that I'll have to work harder, to improve, and be better, next time. Joey said, determined to get stronger for the next tournament he enters. That's a good attitude to have, Joseph. And it just means we'll have more work to do, as well. Solomon said, while entering the room. Wah, we're not done, Joey asked, having thought that his training was over. Not by a long shot. Though I will say this, I'm proud of the progress you've made so far, and I know when we're done, you'll be a fine duelist. By the way, Yugi, this package came for you, said Solomon, while handing his grandson the package, with Yugi looking at it in confusion. A package? What is it, Gramps? Yugi asked. I don't know. It just came in the mail. Solomon replied. Huh, it's from Industrial Illusions, said Yugi, surprised at where the package came from. Industrial Illusions? The same company that created Duel Monsters. Naruto said, also surprised at learning this. Why the heck would they be sending a package to you, Yugi? Asked Joey. I have no idea. Is it possible that they heard about me and Naruto beating Kaiba and Rin? Yugi wondered, as that seemed like the most likely reason. Maybe. While it wasn't an official match, Kaiba and Rin did drop out of the tournament, after they lost to us. Naruto said, while remembering the tag duel against the siblings, and how they won. Just hearing Kaiba's name gives me a headache. Joey said, given everything that happened, and would prefer putting it out of his mind. Whoa, guys, Raptor just stomped Weevil. Tristan said, as their attention turned back to the duel. Yugi, are these guys any good? Asked Joey, having not really focused on the other competitors, unless there was a chance, he'd go up against them. Oh yeah, they're both pretty tough customers. Weevil specializes in insect cards, and he's a great strategist. Then you've got Rex Raptor, and his dinosaur cards. He uses their power to overwhelm his opponents. Yugi explained. Itsy bitsy bugs against dueling dinosaurs. Raptor has got this one in the bag, stated Joey, confident that Rex would win. Don't be so sure, Joey, power isn't everything in a duel. It's about how you use the cards you have. Naruto said, knowing that a good strategy could overwhelm powerful cards, with his and Yugi's match against Kaiba and Rin being a good example of that. Naruto's right, just watch, and we'll see who comes out the winner. Yugi said. Alright Weevil, consider yourself, Dinosaur Chow, said Rex, as he summoned his two-headed King Rex. Two-headed King Rex. Attribute. Earth. Level. 4. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Dinosaur. Card text. A powerful monster whose two heads attack is 1. ATK, 1600 DEF, 1200. Oh, and Raptor plays the terrible two-headed King Rex. Looks like this match could be over right here, right now. Your move, Rex said, smirking, as Weevil let out a creepy laugh. And all I have is this weak little bug, said Weevil, while summoning Basic Insect onto the field. Basic Insect. Attribute. Earth. Level. 2. Card type. Normal monster. Monster type. Insect. Card text. Usually found traveling in swarms, this creature's ideal environment is the forest. ATK, 500 def, 700. Weevil counters with the basic insect card. King Rex, let's take this championship. Stomp him, Rex ordered, with Weevil laughing again. You've attacked your way into my trap. But then, how could your tiny dinosaur brain know, when an enemy attacks, my vortex activates? Which totally traps your King Rex in its inescapable embrace. Said Weevil, playing his trap card Vortex as two-headed King Rex was trapped in a vortex. No, my King Rex, Rex said, with wide eyes. And while he's trapped there, I'll upgrade my basic insect by giving him armor with laser cannon. Not such a wimpy little bug, after all, Attack, Weevil said, as armor appeared on basic insect, who then blasted two-headed King Rex destroying it, and wiping out the last of Rex's life points. Ah, beat by the bug, Rex groaned, at his defeat. A stunning comeback by Weevil Underwood, our newest champion. And now, as a very special honor for our new champion, here to present the Duel Monsters Championship Trophy, the creator of Duel Monsters and the president of Industrial Illusions, himself. Ladies, gentlemen and fellow duelists, I give to you, Mr. Pegasus J. Crawford. Pegasus arrived from a platform, which lifted up from the center of the duel arena, holding the trophy, which he then presented to Weevil. Congratulations. And, as regional champion, I invite you to compete in the bold new tournament that I'm hosting at Duelist Kingdom. Pegasus announced. Later, Pegasus smirked as he sat in his limo, pleased at how things have turned out. And with the announcement of his Duelist Kingdom tournament, it should draw in those who possess the other Millennium items. Speaking of, Pegasus thought, while glancing at his bodyguards. The package was delivered to the boy, just as you ordered, sir. Said one of the bodyguards. Excellent. Now it's assured that both Yugi Boy and Naruto Boy will enter my tournament, bringing their Millennium items with them. After all, nothing is stronger than the love of a brother, who'd do anything for their siblings. Pegasus said smirking, knowing that both Naruto and Kaiba were quite similar in that regard. Game shop, ha, with all the excitement of the championship, you forgot to open your package, Yugi. Solomon said, as they all gathered around the package. What could it be? Wondered Yugi, before opening the box, only to be confused at seeing a red fingerless glove, with a metal ring around the base, with slots for what looked like stars, along with 2 gold stars, that'd fit in the glove, as well as a videotape. Some kind of glove, Taya said confused. And stars, said Joey. Naruto looked at the items thoughtfully, before remembering what they heard Pegasus announce. I think this might be an invitation for Yugi to enter Duelist Kingdom. Naruto said, getting the others to look at him. You think so? Yugi asked, while grabbing the videotape. What else could it be? You suddenly receive a package from Industrial Illusions, and then Pegasus happens to announce a tournament that he's hosting, immediately after. Said Naruto. Yeah, that does make sense. Then is the video some kind of instructions, that will explain the rules? Yugi said, since if the glove and stars are his invitation to Duelist Kingdom, then it would make sense that Pegasus would have sent the videotape, to explain the tournament to him. Let's pop it in and find out. Suggested Joey. Nodding at the suggestion, Yugi was about to put the videotape in, only to stop, when they heard a phone ringing. Sorry, that's mine, Naruto said, while pulling out his cell phone, and saw it was his mother calling, before answering it. Ka-san, is something wrong? Naruto asked, immediately worried, when he heard what sounded like his mother crying. Nah Naruto, please get to the hospital, now. Shishio was admitted and not long ago, please hurry. Naruto's eyes widened at hearing this, now panicking at what was wrong with his sister. I'll be right there, Naruto said, before hanging up, and looked at the others. I have to go, I don't know when I'll be back, just watching the tape without me, said Naruto, as he ran out the door, before anyone could say anything. Though none of them tried to stop him, understanding that whatever happened was more important. Well, might as well see what this is, Yugi said, before putting the tape in the VCR, to see what it was. Later with Naruto, arriving at the hospital, Naruto was met by his worried parents, and his grandfather, Jiraiya. What happened to Shio? Naruto said, getting their attention, with Kushina immediately getting up, and hugging her son. We don't know, she just suddenly passed out, and we brought her here, as fast as we could. Tsunade and Shizune are looking her over, right now, Kushina said, terrified and worried of what was wrong with her daughter. Not a moment later, his grandmother, Tsunade, and aunt, Shizune, came out of the emergency room, with downcast expressions. Ka-san, what's wrong with Shio? What happened? Minato asked, worried about his daughter, with his worries only growing, when he saw that Shizune looked close to crying. We don't know. Physically, Shio is fine, but she seems to have fallen into a coma, of some sorts. And at the moment, there's nothing we can do, to wake her up. Tsunade said, getting choked up at what happened to her granddaughter. Hearing what happened to her daughter, Kushina fell to her knees crying, with Minato comforting his wife. While Jiraiya comforted his son, along with his wife and daughter. Naruto, though, stood frozen at hearing what happened to his sister, before scowling, as he stormed out of the hospital. Naruto, Kushina said, about to go after him, until Minato stopped her. Kushina, don't. Naruto needs some time to himself, he's probably taking it the hardest, said Minato, knowing how close Naruto and Shio were, with Naruto having always done everything he could, to look out for his sister, and doing whatever he could to keep her safe. With Naruto had run out of the hospital, only to stop, and began punching a pillar, repeatedly. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Why did this happen? Why did it have to happen to Shio? Naruto thought, angry at what happened to his sister, and angry at himself, since there was nothing he could do to help her. Naruto's attention was only taken away, when he saw an ambulance, and a car pull up to the hospital, with him recognizing Yugi and the others in the car, along with the former's mother. Running up to them, to see what happened, and wanting a distraction, any distraction, Naruto was stopped, when he saw Solomon being rushed out of the ambulance, with Yugi's mother quickly running after, as well. Guys, what happened? Naruto said, with his friend stopping, upon seeing him. It was Pegasus. That video, it was a trap. He pulled us into a place, called the Shadow Realm, and forced me to duel him. But he tricked me, and when I lost, he stole Grandpa's soul, with his own Millennium item, the Millennium Eye. He also said that we'd duel again, and that he'd get my Millennium Puzzle. Yugi explained, feeling distraught and angry over what happened. Hearing this made Naruto's eyes widen, as he began realizing it happened to his sister, and it only made him angrier. Pegasus, he didn't just steal your grandpa's soul, he took my sister's, as well. She's inside stuck in a coma, and she's not waking up. Because of Pegasus, Naruto shouted, while feeling angry, confused, scared and sad, about what was happening, and the fact that Shio's soul had been taken by a lunatic. Why was he even targeted? Naruto knew he didn't have a Millennium item. So why did Pegasus take his sister's soul? With his emotions running high, Naruto once again stormed off, just wanting to be alone, and try to make sense of what was happening. The others would have run after him, worried for their friend, only for Yugi to stop them. Guys, don't. Right now, Naruto needs some time to himself. Yugi said, understanding exactly what Naruto was going through, given what just happened to his grandfather, and now learning that the same thing happened to Naruto's sister. Yugi swore, he'll make Pegasus pay for what he's done, and save both Solomon and Shio's souls. Later with Naruto, Naruto stood in his shower, with his head and a hand on the tile wall, letting the hot water trail down his body, with it helping him even out his currently volatile temper. Eventually though, he got out and dried off, before changing into some orange sweatpants. Why? Why did this happen? Why does Pegasus want Yugi's Millennium Puzzle? Why did he take Shio's soul, when I don't have one those stupid Millennium items? Naruto thought, grabbing his head, frustrated that he couldn't make sense of what's happening around him. Though Naruto's attention then turned to his ring, when he saw that the ruby on it was glowing brightly. Bright enough, that Naruto had to shield his eyes. When the glow finally died down, Naruto opened his eyes, only to widen them in shock, when he saw that he wasn't alone anymore. Standing in front of him was a blonde-haired teenage girl, who looked to be about his age. She possessed a short, but curvy stature, with pale skin, and yellowish blonde hair, which was tied up in a complex bun, along with having bright, lime-green eyes. While being dressed in a revealing red and white dress, with long puffy sleeves, and a transparent front, showing that the white part of her dress is actually a leotard, along with having knee-high golden armored boots. What really shocked Naruto was the fact that the girl was entirely transparent, like a ghost. The girl then smiled brightly at him, while placing a hand over her heart, while throwing her other hand outward, in an upward angle. It's a pleasure to meet you, young man. So rejoice, for you're standing in front of Olympia's pride, Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. Nero introduced herself, haughtily, with Naruto's eyes widening further in shock, at her name. You mean the Emperor of Rome? That Nero, Naruto said, shocked at not only seeing a Roman emperor, but the fact that this emperor was supposed to male given everything he's read about history. That's right. And yeah, I can understand your confusion about why I'm clearly a female, when I'm supposed to be a man. But history can be a little, when it comes to emperors, kings, and other figures of note. Nero said, with Naruto nodding slowly in agreement, given he's willing to agree with those words, with what he's seeing, right now. Okay. How are you here, right now? Naruto asked, with Nero pointing at the ring on his finger. It has to do with that ring, my ring. Nero said with a smirk, with Naruto looking at his ring, as what it really was, clicked into place. It's a millennium item, isn't it? Naruto stated, now seeing why Pegasus stole Shio's soul, with Nero becoming serious. Yes, but it's not a millennium item, like your friend's puzzle. It was created, when Egypt was conquered by Rome, they discovered the millennium items, and how they were created. But, due to the Egyptians' millennium items being hidden, the Roman Empire sought to make their own set of them, and they succeeded, but only in making 5, rather than 7. Nero explained. And this one, it belonged to you? Naruto asked, while looking at his ring, shocked and amazed that it was once owned by an emperor. Yes. In fact, that millennium ring was worn by every emperor who came before me, since its creation. Up until I committed suicide, after I was betrayed, where it was taken from my corpse, and traded to an Eastern caravan, that was trading with the Roman Empire, at the time. Likely to make sure that the millennium ring couldn't be used against those, who betrayed me. With it eventually ending up in Japan, where it came into the possession of Oda Nobunaga and Okita Soji. And before you ask, yes they were female, as well. Nero said, as astral images of both Nobunaga and Okita appeared. Nobunaga was a girl around the same age as him, with pale, white skin, while having long black hair and crimson-red eyes. With her attire consisting of a black military uniform, with golden boots on her feet, while wearing a red cape military hat, which had golden accessories. all while she had one hand on the red hilt of a golden katana at her side, with her other hand, having a Tanegashima resting on her shoulder. While the image of Okita Soji showed once again a girl around his age. She had short pale blonde hair, with a pink tint to it, while having an ahoge on top of her head, and a black ribbon over her head. While her skin was pale, from her tuberculosis, and pale, silver eyes, that shone with determination. All while having a black scarf around her neck, with the rest of her outfit consisting of a white, sleeveless kimono with black borders, that went down to her mid-thighs, while having a black and aquamarine obi on her waist. She also wore an aquamarine trench coat, with the end of the sleeves being white, while she having black stockings and wooden sandals on her feet. Finally, she held her sheathed blade in one hand, at the side of her waist. Naruto was surprised to see one of the most feared warlords in the world, and the person who was regarded as the strongest swordsman prodigy of the Shinsengumi. With Nobunaga flashing Naruto a smirk, while winking at him, with Okita giving him a nod in respect, before the astral images of them, that Nero had summoned, faded away. Are there any other prominent figures in history, that are portrayed as male, but were actually female? Naruto asked, wondering just how much history was wrong, in that regard. Quite a few, actually. Nero answered with a shrug, not really all that upset about it, given the times that they were recorded and documented into history. Okay. But why does Pegasus want the Millennium Ring, if it's from Rome, while his Millennium Eye and the Millennium Puzzle are from Egypt? Naruto asked, confused as to why Pegasus would want a Roman Millennium item. Because the Egyptians had their own Millennium Ring. And since the Roman Millennium items were modeled after the Egyptian ones, there were bound to be some similarities between them, in name and abilities. So, it's not surprising that Pegasus believes that yours is the Egyptian Millennium Ring. Nero explained. Naruto nodded in acceptance at this, though it still made him angry and annoyed that Pegasus targeted him, and stole his sister's soul, just because of a damn mix-up. Okay. I just have 2 more questions. How are you here right now, when you're dead? And why did the traitors want to get rid of the Millennium Ring? Naruto questioned, since wouldn't it have made more sense to keep the ring, rather than get rid of it? I'm here, because after my suicide, my spirit became bound to the ring. As for why the traitors want to get rid of it, it's because the Millennium Ring is one of, if the most powerful Millennium item, of both the Roman and Egyptian ones. Because the Roman Millennium Ring has the unique ability to negate the abilities of an enemy Millennium items, regardless if they're a known enemy, or have malicious intent, towards the wielder. This was because the Roman emperors were prone to being targeted by assassins, both from within and outside of the Roman Empire. The ring was a way to make sure that the other wielders couldn't use their Millennium items against the emperor. And while it worked, it certainly didn't deter them. Nero explained. Naruto took several deep breaths, as he processed everything he just heard, before throwing on a black undershirt and an orange, zip-up sweater. I'm going for a run, I need to process everything I just heard. Naruto said, with Nero nodding in understanding, knowing that it was a lot to take in. Take all the time you need, and if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Said Nero, with Naruto nodding, before the former emperor vanished as she returned to the Millennium Ring. With that, Naruto went outside to get started on his jog. Once Naruto had exited his house, he had simply started running, all while trying to sort out his thoughts, and understand what's happened in the past few hours. First, he learns his sister is in the hospital, stuck in coma, with the same happening to Yugi's grandfather, not long after. And both happening, because of Pegasus stealing their souls with his Millennium Eye, due to Yugi owning the Millennium Puzzle, and Naruto originally wasn't sure why he was targeted. That is, until he got home, and met the spirit of Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, the Emperor of Rome. Who surprisingly was a girl, an attractive one at that, along with the fact that his ring was really a millennium item, as well. One that was created, along with 4 others by the Romans, after conquering Egypt. With this being the reason why Pegasus stole Shio's soul, because he thought his millennium ring was the one created by the Egyptians. All of it made Naruto confused and angry, that his sister's soul was stolen, leaving her trapped in a coma, all because of a mix-up. And all of it leading to Naruto going out for a run, in the hope of calming down, but so far, he couldn't stop thinking about it, which only made him angrier. Though suddenly, Naruto stopped, when he heard someone screaming. That sounds like Taya. Naruto thought, with his eyes widening, before he took off running to where he heard the scream coming from. Though when he arrived, Naruto's already existing anger only increased, even more, when he saw Taya being attacked by 3 muggers, in an alley. With his anger really spiking, when they tried tearing her clothes, as well. "Hey assholes," Naruto said, getting their attention, with Taya's eyes widening at seeing him. "That's my friend, now either let her go, or else," said Naruto, glaring at them, with the muggers scoffing and looked at with sneers, as they tossed Taya around between them. "Oh yeah, and what are gonna about it, runt?" one of them taunted. "Naruto, please, get out of here," Taya said, not wanting her friend to get hurt, trying to save her. "Okay assholes, I was already in a bad mood, and now it's even worse. Lucky for me, I just found 3 perfect stress relievers," said Naruto, while walking up to them, eager to beat these bastards into the ground. Seeing that he wouldn't be leaving, the muggers scowled, before tossing Taya aside and charged at Naruto, believing they had the advantage with numbers. Only for Naruto to crush that belief, as he sidestepped a punch from the first thug and deliver a quick uppercut to his chin, knocking him back. Ducking under another punch from the second thug, Naruto slammed his fist into his stomach, making them double over in pain. With Naruto then bringing his knee up straight into their face, knocking them out. The third thug seemed to be smarter than the first 2, as he grabbed a nearby pipe, and charged at Naruto to hit him. Only to pale, when Naruto grabbed the pipe mid-swing, and smirked at the thug. Before the thug could react, Naruto grabbed his head, and slammed it hard into the wall of the alleyway, knocking him out, as well. Seeing the 3 were taken out, Naruto grabbed them by their collars, and tossed them into a nearby garbage can. With them taken care of, Naruto went over to Taya, and helped her up. "Are you alright Taya? Did they do anything?" Naruto asked, worried for her, with Taya shaking her head, grateful for Naruto's help. "No, they just grabbed me, and were going to take my stuff, before they decided that they wanted to do other things," said Taya said, shivering at what they were going to do, making her even more thankful that Naruto showed up, when he did. "What are you even doing out here, so late? And where are the others?" Naruto asked, wondering why Taya was out this late at night, and where the others were, given they had been together, at the hospital. "We all live in separate areas from the hospital, so after we left, we all went in different directions. As for why I'm out, my parents called me, and asked me to do some errands, since I was out, anyway," Taya answered, with Naruto nodding in understanding. "And are you still doing them, or did you finish?" Naruto asked, not willing to leave her out alone, and risk her being attacked again. "I finished them, and was actually heading home, until those guys showed up," replied Taya. "Good. Come on, I'll walk you home," Naruto said, wanting to make sure his friend got home, safely. Only to blush, when he remembered Taya's state of dress, seeing that part of her bra and some of her skin was showing. "Here Taya, wear this, you can return it to me, when you're able to," Naruto said, as he took off his orange sweater and handed it to Taya. This made Taya blush, herself, at remembering her state of dress. Before grabbing the sweater, and putting it on. "Thanks," Naruto, Taya said, as she zipped up the sweater. Once she was decent again, Taya and Naruto exited the alley, and began walking towards the former's home. Hey Naruto, where'd you learn to fight like that? Taya asked, curious of how, and when, Naruto learned to fight. I used to get into fights, growing up, mostly because of my hair and whisker marks, leading to me being called a delinquent. At first, I wasn't really good, but after a while, I started getting better. Naruto answered, with Taya looking at him in surprise that he got into fights. Given what she's seen, Naruto was a rather nice and laid-back person. What about you? What do you like, Taya? Naruto asked, wanting to get to know his friend better. Me. Oh well, I really like dancing, and hope to one day study it, in New York. So, I can become a professional dancer. Taya answered. Really? That's pretty cool, said Naruto, with Taya looking at him in surprise. You don't think that's lame, or anything? Taya asked, with Naruto shaking his head. No, if you like dancing and want to study it more, then do that. As long as you're doing something you love, then it shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. Naruto said, with Taya being surprised again at his words, before smiling at him. It wasn't long until they arrived at Taya's home, with Taya seeing her parents weren't home yet, and were still at work. Naruto, I just wanted to say thank you again for your help, earlier, said Taya, with Naruto smiling at her, and waving it off. It's fine, I'm just glad that I was nearby, and got there, when I did. Naruto replied, with Taya returning the smile. Still, thank you, Taya said, before, to Naruto's surprise, giving him a peck on the cheek. Good night, said Taya, before going inside. Yeah, night, Naruto said with a blush, before shaking off his surprise, and started walking home, as well. Timeskip 1 day. The next day at school, Naruto and his friends sat around a table, looking at the cards that Naruto and Yugi had received in the mail, this morning. With Naruto having also gotten his own star chips and glove, like Yugi had gotten the other night. So, you both were invited to Duelist Kingdom, to enter the tournament. Isn't Duelist Kingdom an island? Taya asked, looking at the cards, one depicting the glove and star chips, one showing a ship, another an island, the fourth a pile of treasure, and the fifth being blank, with Naruto and Yugi both having one of each. So, that's where Pegasus is keeping your grandpa and your sister. Joey said with a frown, while feeling sympathy for Naruto for what happened to his sister, while thinking of his own sister, Serenity. Having just recently gotten a video from her, and learned that her eyesight had taken a turn for the worse. Meaning that he was running out of time, in getting the money that he needed to pay for her operation. Maybe. The only way to know for sure, is to become a contestant. The boat's going to be leaving in 2 days. Yugi said, while grabbing the ship card. But you can't go. It could be dangerous. Taya protested, not wanting them to end up losing their souls, as well. If we want to save Yugi's grandpa and my sister, then yes, we will go. Stated Naruto, not caring about the danger, as long as it meant saving Shio. Naruto's right, we have to go. It's the only clue we have for rescuing Grandpa and Shio. Yugi added, along with the fact that if they didn't, who's to say Pegasus won't keep stealing the souls of people they care about, until they finally do go. I still can't believe it. Pegasus used some kind of weird spell to grab your grandpa's and sister's souls away. And now he's toying with you both, by forcing you to duel in the tournament. Tristan said, while frowning. How could anyone be so cruel? Miho said, sadly, not believing that Pegasus would take the souls of a kind old man and a little girl. Right. And without invitations, we can't even go there with you. I wish we could help you guys. Joey said, wishing he'd be able to help his friends. This is bad, stated Taya, knowing Naruto and Yugi would be going alone against dozens of other duelists, some being professionals. Hey, Yugi, Naruto. Check this out. According to this card, the tournament winner takes the grand prize of 3 million yen. Tristan said, while grabbing one of the treasure cards. 3 mil? Joey asked, perking up at the mention of all that money. And, I don't care if the prize was 3 billion. I'm going to get Pegasus for what he's done, said Naruto, with Yugi nodding in agreement, only wanting to save his grandfather's soul. Hey, gimme that. 3 million, said Joey, grabbing the card, while grinning, knowing all that money would be enough to pay for Serenity's operation, with it only making Joey more determined to enter Duelist Kingdom. I guess Joey cares about the money, Yugi said, looking at his friend in confusion. Naruto looked at Joey, curious as to why he seemed interested in the prize money, all of a sudden. Wondering if he needed it for himself, or for someone else. Whatever it is, I'm sure he'll tell us, eventually. Naruto thought. Later, after school had ended, Naruto had collected his stuff, and prepared to go home, wanting to prepare for when he goes to Duelist Kingdom. Hey Naruto, Taya said, while running up to him, with Naruto looking at Taya in surprise at her appearance. Oh, hey Taya, did you need something? Naruto asked, with the brunette shaking her head. No, but I was hoping to repay you for saving me last night, like getting lunch together, or something, said Taya. Taya, I already said that there's no need to thank me. All I need is to know you're safe, you don't have to repay me. Naruto said, not wanting Taya to think she owes him for saving her. Maybe, but I still want to. Come on, please, Taya said with a pouty expression, with Naruto mentally groaning at her look. Alright, let's go, said Naruto, knowing that he couldn't say no to that face. Great, come on, Taya said, while grabbing his arm, and dragging him off. They soon arrived at a small cafe and sat down before ordering. Once their food arrived, the two started making small talk, getting to know each other better, and what they liked. After they finished eating, they decided to take a walk in the park. With Taya looking at Naruto, surprised at what she's learned about him, and seeing a different side of him. Compared to the times she's seen him act around Yugi, Joey, Tristan, and Miho. And thinking about it, he's actually pretty handsome. Taya thought, blushing lightly as she looked at Naruto. Though she frowned, when Naruto gained a downcast expression. Is something wrong, Naruto? Questioned Taya. No, everything's fine. I'm really worried about Shio, worried that I won't be strong enough to save her, or if Pegasus does something to her soul, and she'd be gone forever. Naruto said, having been constantly worrying over whether he'll be able to save Shio or not, especially given Duelist Kingdom will have dozens of strong duelists to go against, not to mention Yugi as well, who has to save his grandfather. Hearing this made Taya look at him solemnly, seeing that despite being a great duelist, and not afraid to back down from a challenge, he's still human and worried about his little sister. Though she then smiled, and placed a hand on his shoulder, with Naruto looking at her. Don't worry, I know you and Yugi will be able to take on anyone, and beat Pegasus. Besides, you'll have me, Joey, Tristan and Miho there, cheering you on the entire way, said Taya, with Naruto looking at her in confusion at the latter statement, given only those who are invited could go to Duelist Kingdom. But either way, Naruto nodded in thanks at her words, and was determined to save Shio and Yugi's grandfather. Timeskip 2 days. Naruto and Yugi stood in line, as they waited to board the ship, that'd be taking them to Duelist Kingdom. While Yugi was wearing his school uniform, along with a backpack, Naruto was wearing a different set of clothes. Consisting of black hiking boots, long black pants, a dark orange short-sleeved shirt, and the jacket that Shio had given him on his birthday. Naruto also had his own backpack, slung across his back. You ready, Yugi? Naruto asked, with Yugi nodding. As I'll ever be. What about you? Said Yugi, while glancing at Naruto, who nodded as well. Same, said Naruto, knowing this will be a tough fight. Though their attention turned ahead, when they heard some of the guards talking. Hey, you, get out of here. Only official contestants are allowed on board. One of the guards said. How do you know I'm not official? Said Joey, as he was being dragged away by two guards, while Naruto and Yugi's eyes widened at seeing their friend. Because the official duelists aren't trying to sneak on board, through the lower hatches. Retorted the guard. Joey, what the? Yugi said, confused as to why Joey was here. Come on, said Naruto, as they went over to them. Stop your struggling. We're going to have to throw you out, said the guard, as Joey struggled to get out of their hold and onto the boat, along with making sure he caused a big enough distraction for Taya, Miho, and Tristan to sneak on board. No way. I came here to duel, and I'm gonna duel, stated Joey. Leave him alone, said Yugi, as he and Naruto ran up. Hey, Yugi, Naruto, said Joey. What are you doing here, Joey? Asked Naruto. Ha, did you really think that I'd let you guys do this on your own? Come on, help me out, Joey said, while smiling at his friends. With Taya, Miho, and Tristan. Meanwhile, Taya, Miho and Tristan hid amongst the cargo being loaded onto the ship, waiting for everyone to be distracted. They're distracted. Let's go, said Taya, seeing their chance. Right, Tristan said, as they all got in a shipping container, and waited for it to be put on the ship. With Naruto, Yugi, and Joey. He's with us. You've got to let him on. Yugi said. Only people with a star chip can get on board. There are no exceptions. Understand, retorted the guard. And Joey already has a star chip. Naruto said. I do. Joey asked, while blinking in confusion. Yassi, said Yugi, while giving Joey one of his own star chips. What's this? Joey asked, surprised that Yugi would give him one of his own star chips. According to this card, a star chip's proof that one is a duelist. Said Yugi. That may be, but all participants are given 2 star chips. You'll be at a disadvantage. The guard warned. Maybe, but I'd rather take that risk, than be without my friend, when we get to the duelist kingdom. Yugi said. Yeah, we'll need him watching our backs, after all. Said Naruto. Yugi, Naruto, said Joey, touched by their words. What do we do? Said the second guard, as the first pulled out his phone. Mr. Pegasus, we've got a problem, sir. Said the guard, while calling Pegasus to see if he'd allow this. Later. I'm glad that they let you on board, Joey. Yugi said, glad that Joey was able to come with them to Duelist Kingdom. Only because you sacrificed one of your star chips for me. But if any of the other players find out we only have 1 star chip each, they could really try to take advantage of us. Said Joey, knowing that'd put them at a disadvantage, compared to the other duelists, who had 2 star chips. Then be quiet about it. Naruto stated. Not long after, the boat had left the port, and began making its way to Duelist Kingdom. Well, what do we have here? Said a female voice, getting the 3 boys' attention. Looking, they saw a woman, a few years older than them, with long blonde hair and light purple eyes, wearing a short-sleeved purple coat over her white tube top, exposing her midriff, black socks, along with purple high-heeled boots. Wow, Joey said, while blushing at the beautiful woman. So, you're those kids, Naruto and Yugi, that everybody's talking about, huh? The woman said, smirking as she walked up to them. Whoa, check it out, Joey said, still in a daze. But, I'm amazed that a couple of squirts like you could beat Seto Kaiba and Rin Tasaka. You're both famous, you know, stated the woman. Oh, Thank you very much, I think. Yugi muttered, feeling uncomfortable with how close she was standing. Hey, miss, I'm a really good friend of Yugi and Naruto, the master duelists, in fact. Look, you're either a champ or a chump. Cut this guy loose. He's fashion challenged and deserves to be crushed in the games. She said, before walking off, with Naruto frowning at her words, not really liking her attitude. Please, crush me, said Joey eagerly. I'll crush you all, eventually. The name's my Valentine. Mai said, before walking off. We'll see who does the crushing. Naruto thought, really not liking Mai's attitude, feeling she needed to be knocked down a couple pegs. Afterwards, when the sun went down, everyone started heading inside to get some sleep. With Joey frowning, when he saw the sleeping arrangements. Hey, is this a joke, or what? This is a luxury cruiser. I know you've got better rooms, somewhere. Joey said, annoyed that they were on a giant ship, and yet they were all sleeping in the same area. You again, we cut you a break, and now you're causing more trouble. Said one of the guards from earlier. Do you want to get thrown out of here? Another guard said, as they grabbed Joey to get him to settle down. Just then, Rex and Weevil walked into the area, where they caught sight of Naruto and Yugi. Huh, hey, aren't you Naruto and Yugi? Questioned Weevil, getting their attention. Huh, yeah, and you're, Yugi said, surprised at seeing Rex and Weevil. Weevil, and Rex, the Dino Duelist, said Joey, amazed at meeting the winner and runner-up of the National Duel Monsters tournament. Ha, you're wasting your time with those guys. The private rooms only go to finalists from the last tournament, and other VIP duelists, like us. Rex said, while smirking. Congratulations on winning the nationals, Weevil. Yugi said, with Weevil smirking slightly at seeing a chance to use this to his advantage. It was nothing, stated Weevil. Yeah, I went easy on him. That time, Rex retorted, knowing if he had summoned his Serpent Knight Dragon, he would have won. Plus, now he has the legendary Red Eyes Black Dragon in his deck, due to it being a prize for being the runner-up in the national tournament. Yeah, well this time, Naruto, Yugi, and I are going to take the tournament. Right guys, said Joey, confident that they'd make it to the top, given they had important reasons to win. Naruto and Yugi to save their sisters' and grandfather's souls respectively, and Joey to win the prize money for his sister's operation. To tell you the truth, winning the last championship didn't feel like that much of an achievement. I guess I can't really call myself a champion, until I defeat the duelists who beat Seto Kaiba and Rin Tasaka. But I'm sure I'll end up battling you in the big tournament, Yugi, Naruto. Frankly, I look forward to it. Weevil said. Yeah, looking forward to it, replied Naruto, while narrowing his eyes slightly. I'm looking forward to some Dino demolition, stated Rex. Let me tell you a little secret. It's something none of the other players know about the game, yet. Weevil said, while walking closer and talking quietly. Oh, isn't that cheating? Yugi asked, not liking the idea of cheating. The other duelists will find out, soon enough. Besides, I only know this, because Pegasus told me, as a prize for my victory in the nationals. There are new rules on the island, that require more strategy, said Weevil. Ah, rules are for wimps. In dueling, you either smash your opponent, or get smashed yourself. It's one, or the other. Rex said, believing only strength was important in a duel. Strength is good, but you also need to combine them with other types of cards. Joey said, remembering what Solomon taught him. Who asked you? Stay out of my way, or I'll stomp you, like everyone else. Retorted Rex, as he walked away, with Joey scowling in annoyance at his words. We'll see who stomps who, when we get to the island, muttered Joey. Ignore him, let's scope out the competition, Weevil said. What do you mean? Asked Joey, with Weevil pointing at some of the other duelists. Check out those chumps. They're already trading over there. Players here are swapping cards and strengthening their decks, getting ready for the big tournament. It's also a good chance to get a feel for your future opponent's cards. Weevil explained, with the three looking, and couldn't help but agree that it'd be good way to get insight on their opponents' strategies, with Joey immediately going over to start trading. Guess Joey's trading, stated Yugi, seeing Joey going to different duelists, to see if any of them wanted to trade cards. If you've come all this way, and you're still trying to improve your deck, you've got to be pretty desperate. I'll catch you on the flip side, Weevil said, before walking away. With Taya, Miho, and Tristan. Meanwhile, on the outside of the ship, Taya moved around needing to go to the bathroom. Hey, Taya, stay down or we're busted, Tristan said, not wanting all her moving to get them caught. I can't help it, I need to find a restroom to use, said Taya. Oh, is that all? Just go over the side of the ship, Tristan said, while pointing to the edge of the ship, only for Miho to smack on the head and glare at him. You can't just tell a girl to go over the side of a ship, said Miho. Why not? Guys do it all the time, said Tristan, rubbing his head, not seeing the problem, while Taya and Miho gave him deadpan looks, not even feeling the need to point out why that wouldn't work. Though they tensed up when they heard a door opening, and quickly ducked down to hide. Seeing who it was, Taya was surprised to see Bakura. Look, it's Bakura, Taya whispered. Bakura, what's he doing here? Asked Miho. I guess he's in the tournament, Tristan said, surprised that Bakura was a participant. Once Bakura left, Taya couldn't take it anymore, and went off to search for the bathroom. Later, check it out, I got some good card trading in, Joey said, showing Naruto and Yugi the cards that he had gotten, with the two having been going over their own decks, with their deck boxes sitting on a table. Hey, let me see them. Salamandra, Kunai with chain, baby dragon and shield and sword. Great. With these new spell and trap cards combined with your monsters, you'll have a real strong deck, Yugi said, knowing Joey will have a great deck with these new cards. Yeah, and if you have any monsters with high defense points and low attack points, shield and sword will be perfect to power them up, and weaken your opponent's monsters, said Naruto. Alright, so now, I'm ready to win every duel I play, said Joey, pleased with the upgrades to his deck. I think you're going to find it's a bit harder than that, Joey. Here, Yugi said, opening his deck box and pulling out Time Wizard. Add this to your deck. It can be helpful in a tight spot, said Yugi, while handing Joey the card. Thanks. I'll take it. I can't get over how you're always helping me out, Joey said, thankful that his friends are always there to lend him a hand. Ah, we meet again, said Weevil, while walking up to them. Oh, Weevil, Yugi greeted, as Weevil walked over to the railing. Ah, the evening wind sure feels nice. So, did you trade for any good cards, Naruto, Yugi? Weevil asked. Nah, I'm gonna duel with the cards I brought along with me, replied Yugi, confident in the deck his grandfather gave him. And if it really came down to it, he had also had Exodia to rely on. Thankfully, he didn't have to use it against Kaiba and Rin, so no one knew that he had the Exodia cards. Hell, even he didn't know that he had Exodia, until his grandpa told him about it, after his and Naruto's duel against Rin and Kaiba. Yeah, I'm good with my cards, as well, Naruto said, knowing he's been making some improvements to his deck, since getting the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and didn't want to throw off his strategies, by adding new cards. Especially since the Duelist Kingdom tournament will be starting, as soon as they get on the island. It would be best to test and experiment with new cards and strategies, when he wasn't about to participate in a tournament. Especially one, where the souls of his sister and his friend's grandfather are on the line. I figured as much. You used the Blue Eyes White Dragon in your duel with Kaiba and Rin Tasaka, right? That's one of the strongest monster card in the entire game. Weevil said, with Naruto nodding slowly, still feeling suspicious about Weevil. Yeah, and really rare, with there being only 4 in existence. I have 1, and Kaiba has the other 3, said Naruto, with his suspicions only growing, when for a second, he saw Weevil gain a malicious smirk, before covering it up with a friendly smile. Could I possibly see such a legendary card? Weevil asked, knowing that without the Blue Eyes White Dragon to compete against, he'll have nothing to worry about in the tournament. I don't know, I'd prefer to not risking anything happening to it, said Naruto, now fully suspicious that Weevil wasn't as nice as he portrayed himself to be. And there's no way he's letting the Blue Eyes leave his hands, not unless Solomon personally asked for it back. Ah, come on Naruto, just let him see it. What's the harm it could do? Said Joey, not seeing the problem with showing Weevil the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, maybe he'd be able to help you think of more strategies to use it in, added Yugi, with Naruto sighing as he grabbed his deck box, and opened it. Alright fine. Here's the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Naruto said, while pulling the legendary dragon out, and showing Weevil. Seeing the card, Weevil smirked and made to grab it, only for Naruto to immediately put back into his deck box, and close it. While looking at the insect duelist with narrowed eyes. We agreed that you could look at it, not hold it, stated Naruto, refusing to let Weevil take the card, and do who knows what with it. Seeing this, Weevil grit his teeth and grabbed Naruto's deck box. Come on, just let me see it for a moment, I'll give it right back, said Weevil, trying to pull the deck box from Naruto's hands, but the Uzumaki didn't let go. I already said no, you wanted to see it, and you saw it. Now let go, Naruto said, as Weevil's mask finally dropped, as he tried pulling Naruto's deck box from his hands. Give me that card, right now, Weevil shouted, refusing to let go, not until he got rid of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Hey, what you doing? Joey said, while grabbing Weevil and tried pulling him away, only to be elbowed in the face. Get off me, you idiot. And you, give me that dragon, demanded Weevil, trying to pull the box from Naruto's grip, with Naruto glaring at him, wanting to punch the runt in the face for trying to steal his card. That's enough, Bug Boy, said Mako Tsunami, while grabbing Weevil and pulling him away, as 2 guards grabbed Weevil and held him in place, with Naruto, Yugi, and Joey seeing that the struggle had drawn a crowd of the other duelists, including Mai, Rex, and surprisingly Rin as well, and the security on the boat. What's going on here? Demanded one of the guards, as they held onto Weevil. What's going on, is that Weevil, here, was trying to steal my card, said Naruto, as the guards glared at Weevil for trying to break the rules like that, while some of the other duelists muttered at the dirty trick. Is that so? This is a warning, Mr. Underwood, if you attempt to steal cards from another duelist, or act out in any way. It won't matter if you're one of Mr. Crawford's guest of honor, you will be thrown off this ship. Understood, warned the guard. Perfectly, Weevil said, through gritted teeth, knowing that his chance to get rid of the Blue Eyes White Dragon was lost. Good. Now everyone, please return to what you were doing, and get some rest, said the guard, as they released Weevil, and began ushering the duelists back inside. Wow, Bug Boy, you actually have to cheat to win. Guess you aren't that great of a duelist, huh? It makes me wonder if my loss to you was legitimate, or the result of foul play. At least I know how to play fair, Rex taunted with a scowl, eager for the chance to take a shot at Weevil for his loss against him. Especially with the revelation that Weevil might have cheated in their duel, as well. Fuming, Weevil scoffed, before he stormed off, knowing he'll have to wait for another chance, once they get to Duelist Kingdom. Man, I can't believe that guy, and I actually thought he was pretty cool, too. Joey said, angry at what Weevil tried to do, and at himself for getting Naruto to show Weevil his blue eyes white dragon, which nearly made him lose the card. Yeah, he actually tried to steal the blue eyes, said Yugi, while also frowning at Weevil's dirty trick. Though he was more upset at himself for giving Weevil the benefit of the doubt, which nearly led to the card his grandfather gave to Naruto being stolen, or worse, thrown into the ocean and lost forever. Yugi swore that when they got to the island, he's making sure that Weevil gets knocked out of the tournament as soon as possible, refusing to take the chance of him trying to steal the dragon again. Don't beat yourselves up, guys. I understand wanting to see the good in people and give them the benefit of the doubt. By the way, thanks for the help, Mako, right? From the Nationals tournament, Naruto asked, with Mako nodding. Yeah, Mako Tsunami. Nice to meet you, you're Naruto and Yugi, right? And it's good to see you again, Joey. Mako said with a smile, while shaking their hands. Yeah, that's us. So I'm guessing that you're a contestant, too? Yugi asked. Yep. And since you three are here, I'm sure you are, as well. Well, good luck, and see you on the island, Mako said, while waving at them, which they returned. They were then surprised when Rin walked up to them. She was still wearing her attire from when they first met, with the addition of a long red coat, a yellowish-orange scarf around her neck, brown hiking boots instead of her shoes, along with black, long hiking pants, in the place of her black mini skirt, and a duffel bag over her shoulder. With Naruto also noticing how her expression seemed far calmer, with it being less dark and mean, from when they first met. Rin, what are you doing here? Naruto asked, with Rin pulling out her card invitations. Seto and I received invitations to participate, as well, answered Rin. And is Kaiba here, too? Yugi asked, looking around to see if Kaiba was indeed on the ship. No, Seto decided against participating. He's currently working on some things, and is trying to find himself, given that was the first time either of us have ever lost a duel. Even more so, that it was against another blue eyes white dragon. I decided to participate, to show everyone that even if we lost, we're still in the game. Rin said, while feeling thankful for whatever Yugi had done to her and Seto. Whatever it was, it made her feel calmer and more relaxed, less angry and vindictive. I suppose it's one of that puzzle's powers, or the spirit that really dueled us. Rin thought, while glancing at Yugi's Millennium Puzzle, before looking at Naruto's Millennium Ring, curious of where that one came from. Well, good luck in the tournament, said Naruto, willing to give Rin a chance to see if she's changed. Rin nodded at his words, before smirking. I'll also expect a rematch one day, but just you and me, Rin said, wanting to go against Naruto and Yugi in a one-on-one duel, each. I'll be waiting, Naruto replied, while smirking at her. Yeah, I look forward to dueling you again, as well, Rin, Yugi said, with a competitive smile of his own. Nodding, Rin then walked off to get some rest, until they arrived at the island. Naruto also waved at Yugi and Joey, wanting to go for a walk around, along with the chance to speak with Nero. Once Naruto was sure he was alone, he looked at his ring and wondered how he was supposed to talk to Nero. As if summoned by his thoughts, Nero appeared before him. You wished to speak with me, Praetor, said Nero, with Naruto blinking at her appearance, and calling him a Praetor. Why'd you call me a Praetor? Naruto asked, with Nero smirking as she raised her right arm towards him. Why wouldn't I? You possess my ring, and have awakened my spirit, within it. As such, you are a Praetor, commanding your monsters to claim dominion over all who stand before you. And once this tournament has begun, we shall crush any and all who would challenge us. Nero said, as she turned to point towards the direction of the island, while smirking. I don't want to crush anyone. Well, except maybe Pegasus. Naruto said, not wanting to attack or crush anyone, nor claim dominion over those who stand before him. And why not? That is the right of an emperor, and a praetor, to show your power. Whether they be an enemy or an ally, it is your right to show everyone the power you possess, and can unleash. Said Nero, while looking at him with a raised brow, with Naruto shaking his head. Look, we're getting off topic, I wanted to ask you some questions. Naruto said, with Nero huffing, and crossing her arms under her bust. Very well, what did you wish to ask me, praetor? Nero said, with Naruto holding up his hand, with the Millennium Ring on his finger. This ring, you said its power could negate the powers of the other Millennium items. Would I be able to use it to get Shio's and Solomon's souls back in their bodies? Naruto asked, hoping to have a fallback plan, in case neither he nor Yugi managed to defeat Pegasus. Unfortunately, no, the Millennium Ring was created to work on for the Emperor, with its power working only to protect the Emperor, or in this case, its wielder. The only way it would have saved the souls of your sister and your friend's grandfather, is if they had been wearing it, at the time. Said Nero, with Naruto frowning at this, meaning he and Yugi would needed to beat Pegasus, to save Shio and Solomon. Was there anything else you wished to ask me? Asked Nero. Yeah, just one other thing. How could anyone mistake you for male, given you, Naruto said, while motioning to Nero herself as a whole, with the former emperor smirking. Yes, I have truly been blessed by Venus. Said Nero, knowing that she is indeed beautiful. Yeah, sure, you're clearly a female, and yet history claims you're male. How did that happen? And aren't you upset about it? Naruto asked, figuring Nero would be upset at people thinking she was a guy, but she had shown to be perfectly okay with it. That was due to my betrayers. After my suicide, they had destroyed everything showing the truth of my appearance and gender. And created replacements to describe me as a male, in an effort to stain my reputation. As for whether I am upset over this being how history remembers me, the answer is no, Nero said, with Naruto looking at her in surprise. No, Naruto repeated, with Nero nodding. No, history may remember me however it wants, my betrayers could stain my reputation as much as they want, in the end, I do not care. Because at the end of the day, I am still an emperor. Nero said, with the Uzumaki looking at her, surprised by her answer and reasoning. I guess you're right, said Naruto, seeing that Nero was right. No matter how she's remembered, or how she's seen, she's still an emperor. Of course I'm right, Nero stated with a smirking. Well, that's all I really wanted to ask. Thank you, Naruto said, with Nero nodding. Of course, I'm here if you ever require my assistance, praetor. Replied Nero, as she returned to the ring. Naruto then continued on his walk around the ship, only to stop when he saw Taya walking around, and seemed to be looking for something. Taya, Naruto called out, with Taya stopping, and looked at him with wide eyes. Oh, hey Naruto. What are you doing here? Taya asked nervously. Going for a walk. But I think the real question is, what are you doing here? With Miho and Tristan, I'm guessing, as well. Though given you're here, I can see why Joey was making such a big scene, before getting on the boat. Said Naruto, with Taya wincing. Yeah, sorry about that. Taya said, only for Naruto to wave it off, and smile at her. Don't be. I'm actually glad you're here, and I'm sure that Yugi will be too, once he sees you and the others. Said Naruto, glad that their friends were here to support them. Though what are doing out here, right now? Questioned Naruto. I'm actually looking for the bathroom. Taya said, while blushing in embarrassment. Oh, well then, come on. The bathrooms are inside the ship, not outside. Said Naruto, while motioning for Taya to follow him. But won't I get caught going inside? Taya asked. Don't worry, this ship is currently filled with duelists. You'll be hiding in plain sight, replied Naruto, before guiding her into the ship. Later. Thank you, Naruto, that really helped, said Taya, relieved, along with being thankful that Naruto actually took her to a bathroom, rather than suggesting to go over the side of the ship, like Tristan did. No problem, Naruto replied. So, what are you, Yugi, and Joey going to do, once you get on the island? Taya asked, wondering what their plan was. I'm actually going to go off on my own, once we reach Duelist Kingdom, revealed Naruto, surprising Taya. What? Why? Said Taya, thinking it'd be better if they stuck together. Because my sister's soul is in Pegasus's hands, along with Yugi's grandpa's. Yugi and I agreed that it'd be better if we split up to cover more ground, and this way, at least either me or Yugi would make it to the finals. Naruto answered, since they didn't care which of them made it, as long as Shio and Solomon were saved. This made Taya smile, and nod in understanding. Well, stay safe, there will be plenty of strong duelists. And if you ever need any of us, don't be afraid to call, said Taya, given Naruto had exchanged numbers with her, Yugi, Joey, Miho, and Tristan. I will, and thank you, Taya, replied Naruto, while smiling at her, which Taya returned, before going back to hide with Miho and Tristan, until they arrived at the island. Once Taya had left, Naruto looked out at the ocean, clenching his hands around the railing. Don't worry Shio, I will save you, I swear it. And I'll help Yugi save his grandpa, too. Naruto mentally swore. No matter what, he'll save them, and stop whatever Pegasus is planning.